Isabella Guzman. She's accused of stabbing her mother 79 times.
And motioned to the area under each of her eyes with her index finger. Court documents indicate that Isabella Guzman had a contentious relationship with her mom, and that her mom was concerned enough that she called police on August 28th. They came to the house and told Isabella that her mom could kick her out for her behavior. It seemed to calm her down. But later that evening, after her mom went upstairs to take a shower, Guzman's stepdad heard a thump, ran upstairs, and saw blood oozing out from under the bathroom door.
In a packed courtroom in Aurora, Colorado, 18-year-old Isabella Guzman sat silently as the charges were read. Police had charged her with first-degree murder after investigators say she stabbed her mother 79 times in the face, neck, and torso. Remarkably, Isabella showed almost no emotion, even a faint, unsettling smirk, as the camera lights blazed on her orange jail jumpsuit. That image of calm defiance would soon go viral online, igniting outrage and bafflement. Now, in hushed voices, lawyers and detectives would tell a very different story, of voices in Isabella's head, a shattered family, and a young woman who believed she had saved the world by committing this brutal act. Isabella had grown up the daughter of a Jehovah's Witness family in suburban Aurora. But by her mid-teens, neighbors say she had begun to change. In later interviews, Guzman herself claimed she had suffered abuse at home for many years and that things worsened after she left the religion at age 14. Tensions with her mother, Yunmi Hoy, had reportedly escalated. Days before the murder, family members recalled Isabella angrily telling her mother, "You will pay." Court documents later confirmed Isabella had scrawled those words in a threatening note to her mother. Friends noted she had become withdrawn and agitated. One even remembered seeing bruises on Isabella's hand from a recent scuffle at home. By the summer of 2013, the Guzman household was a tinderbox. On the night of August 28, 2013, that tinderbox finally exploded. According to witness statements, Yunmi Hoy had gone upstairs to shower when her husband, Isabella's stepfather, heard a thump from the bathroom. Seconds later, he found the door pushed closed and then heard his wife call out in distress. Bursting in, he discovered Isabella standing in the hallway, holding a bloody knife, and his wife lying gravely wounded in the tub. The stepfather immediately ran for help. Neighbors called 911. First responders arrived to find Yunmi Hoy covered in blood, having been stabbed dozens of times. A later autopsy would count at least 79 distinct wounds. Isabella fled the scene in the confusion, but by the next day, officers had tracked her to a nearby parking garage and took her into custody without incident. As she was led away, an officer noted she was unusually calm, her face betraying almost no panic or remorse. Within days, Isabella was formally charged with murder and held without bond. On her very first court date, cameras caught her gazing steadily into the lenses, still eerily composed. A local journalist described how she was seen making faces at television cameras as she entered the courtroom in handcuffs. It was as if she knew the world was watching. In December 2013, Isabella pled not guilty by reason of insanity. Prosecutors, observing the evidence of her mental state, did not contest the plea. The judge agreed and sent her to the Colorado Mental Health Institute at Pueblo for inpatient treatment indefinitely. This woman did not know right from wrong, declared Arapahoe County District Attorney George Brockler, a finding echoed by defense experts. In the weeks after her arrest, police and psychiatrists alike sought to understand what had happened in the Guzman home. Investigators interviewed the stepfather and neighbors, and forensic teams processed the scene. Isabella was questioned by detectives, but her statements were limited. She remained calm and matter-of-fact, rarely breaking eye contact. Officers later reported that Isabella did not express guilt or confusion, only a strange detachment. In one police interview, she silently traced a spiral in the air and then, without elaboration, uttered something about voices telling her what to do. Those scant comments and the note she'd written hinted at a fractured mind, one caught between reality and the frightening fantasies it had spun. It was during Isabella's psychiatric evaluation that the full picture emerged. A team of court-appointed doctors examined her over several months. She had profound psychotic symptoms, testified forensic psychiatrist Dr. Richard Pounds. Isabella reported hearing hostile voices and believing herself to be under a curse. In those sessions, she revealed that by late August she was calling her mother Cecilia and speaking of an astral being, a mythical figure she believed had made her family evil. Most startlingly, she confessed she believed Yunmi was not really her mother at all, but an impersonator. In Isabella's delusion, she had killed Cecilia to save the world from this evil influence. Lawyers on both sides ultimately agreed with the doctor's grim assessment. At a June 2014 hearing, Chief Deputy District Attorney Ann Tomsic announced, "We are conceding that the defendant was insane at the time." The trial judge, having reviewed the expert findings, formally ruled Isabella not guilty by reason of insanity. The state hospital would hold her indefinitely until she is deemed to no longer be a threat to the public, prosecutors announced. Even Brockler, normally a tough-on-crime DA, said it simply: she didn't know right from wrong. Outside the courtroom, the verdict polarized the community. News of Isabella's eerie smirk and shocking crime had already inflamed online forums and social media. To many, her not guilty plea felt like a miscarriage of justice. One commenter fumed, "No insanity. She premeditated. She did this out of anger and because she did not get what she wanted." Outrage boiled over at the idea that a smiling teenager could be rewarded with a hospital bed instead of prison. Others struggled to comprehend the medical evidence. Could a seemingly coherent young woman be truly unaware of her actions? On one popular true crime blog, furious readers blamed everything from technology to parenting, largely ignoring the mental illness angle. Only a few voices argued for empathy, noting that Isabella's shrieks of reality had become incomprehensible even to herself. But in the court of public opinion, few extended her the doubt the justice system ultimately gave. 7 years later, Isabella Guzman remains at the Pueblo Hospital, under constant evaluation. In a recorded video interview, she pleaded for release, insisting, "I was not myself when I did that, and I have since been restored to full health," claiming the voices and paranoia are gone. "I'm not mentally ill anymore. I'm not a danger to myself or others," she said with conviction. Only regret tinges her voice when she speaks of that night. "If I could change it, or if I could take it back, I would." The admission is stark, but it comes too late for Yunmi Hoy. For the public, it is a haunting echo of the events they witnessed. In the end, the Isabella Guzman case poses a wrenching question. How should a society balance mercy and justice when the perpetrator is a teenager at war with her own mind? The court settled the legal question years ago. Only time will tell whether Isabella's own conscience and the family she lost can find peace.